Okay, well, g'day everyone, and welcome to the fourth in our inclusive classroom series. This one's on math support using Microsoft tools. I'm going to throw something up ahead of time and just say that I'm not a maths teacher. I mean, I was when I was a teacher. I was certainly teaching in primary and in lower years in primary. So for a very long time, I did teach maths, but certainly not to the level of a maths teacher that may be required to really understand a lot of this today. So as I'm sharing, I'm going to show you what I know about this stuff, but please don't ask me to define anything or anything like that, because yeah, I'm not an upper primary or even secondary maths teacher. So on that note, I'm going to share my screen, and let's get right into this, right? So again, welcome to the fourth workshop. We've had three others, obviously. We had one on the inclusive classroom and the introduction to the inclusive classroom. We've had one on reading support, and we've had one on writing support. So please go back and have a look at those. If you do want to access those, you can access them here at my YouTube site, and you can just type in aka.ms/TroyYT, and that will take you to my YouTube page. And then just look for the learning support inclusivity playlist, and that's where you'll find today's workshop as well as the ones that were in the lead up. So this is our agenda today. I don't think it's going to be a super long workshop, but we'll see how we go. I'm just going to remind us a little bit about personalization, which I have done on sort of every other workshop. I want to talk about the maths assistant in OneNote. We're going to have a look at that. We're going to have a look at the Maths Solver in the Edge browser. And lastly, we're going to look at the Maths Solver mobile app. Now, all these three tools do very much the same thing, but they're all in different platforms. So yeah, we'll jump in and have a look at that. I also want to remind everyone about our mission statement. This is our mission statement, is to empower every person and every organisation on the planet to achieve more. And as I've said in every single one of our workshops, we take that responsibility as a company and also individuals within the company very seriously. So when it comes to accessibility, learning support, equity, inclusivity, it's something that really beats in the Microsoft heart, but also in a lot of us that work in that space. So talking about personalization, I really unpacked this in the first workshop, so please jump back and have a look. But I just want to remind everyone that I said that personalization, while seemingly the same as differentiation, is somewhat different because it doesn't put the onus on the teacher, but on the learner. And so the student personalizes their own learning. And the onus is no longer on the teacher to create resources and to have all that sort of stuff built out specifically for every single student in their class. Instead, what happens is the technology allows the student to personalize. So the teacher needs to facilitate the personalization, but ultimately doesn't decide what that looks like. So our first dive today is into the Maths Assistant for OneNote. So the OneNote Maths tools take handwritten equations and not only convert it to text, but also outlines the solution steps. So this capability makes OneNote into a maths tutor. So the maths button has numerous ways to personalize learning for each of your students. And you as maths teachers will know that one essential aspect of personalized learning is to provide your students with immediate feedback specific to their individual needs. So when students use the math button to quickly determine if they are correct in their understanding, the learning process is accelerated. Students are empowered to meet their own learning needs and are supported through the entire process. So let's get started with the OneNote Maths button using ink. One of the most exciting aspects of this button is that the students can choose between inking and typing to be able to meet their personal needs. So let's see how to write your own equation using a stylus. So assuming you have a stylus on your device, you select your pen and then your color. And then what you do is you start to write your equation. Right, so there's an equation. I would have no idea how to solve this anymore, I don't think. Then you use the lasso tool to select your equation, and then you click the maths button. So you can use the lasso to fix anything that OneNote got wrong, right? And then what you do, we'll just fix those ones up there. And you'll have to forgive me, I know my dogs are about to make a lot of loud noise in a minute. You click the Ink to Maths button and then you select an action. In this case, we're going to solve for X, and then you can see the answer right there. Now, the other thing we've got there is you click Show Steps to get a step-by-step breakdown of how to solve that equation. So once upon a time, that would have been the job of the aide to support the student. Now they can actually get that through the technology. You can also write with a stylus, of course, but you can also type or cut and paste an equation. So the Maths Assistant works the way that you want it to. You can switch between inking and typing based on your needs or device capabilities. So think about your students who might struggle with writing complex equations, or maybe have dysgraphia challenges. And so now with OneNote, your students can use the keyboard to type, they can use a pen or a finger to ink, or even dictate using their voice. So this gives students the support they need to be independent learners. So I'm going to show you now how you can graph equations. So what you do is you click on the Draw tab, select the equation, and then of course choose the Maths button again. And then you click Select an Action and choose Graph in 2D to select the interactive graph. You can pinch to zoom in and out, right, if you've got a touch screen, and you can also use the plus and minus buttons below. I'll show you how that works. Right, so we've got the zoom button there, but also we've got the plus and the minus ones there below. So the graph adjusts when you change those options as well, right? Now you can also insert the graph onto the page, but please note that the one that's now on the page is no longer interactive or able to be changed, right? So once it's on the page, that's sort of stuck as it is. Now, depending on the numbers you select, the actions are not always the same in all the menu choices. So here's a list of numbers I'm going to type out separated by commas, and we can type or write these using a stylus as well. But in this case, I'm just going to type them in. Now you select the numbers, click the Maths button again, and when I click Select an Action, you can see there are a whole heap of options available there, right? Not just, you know, some simple ones, but there's quite a lot there. Where were these when I was doing statistics? So I'm going to click the Mean button, and then we see the answer, but we also again see the solution steps, and you can also drag and drop those solutions out onto the page if you want. I'll show you how to do that. So you just drag that out, and so that's out on the page if that's where you want it. So again, it's just giving a lot of that support. So it's not just giving the answer, it's also a tutor, and it's showing how to do that. Now, the other thing I want to point out is that the Maths pane, when you've got that drop down, it gives you the option, and I'm going to pretend I know what this means, right? But it gives you the option to change the settings between complex and real numbers, as well as angle measurement types. So you click on the settings within the Maths pane, which is living down here, and then you can explore the options available to you, right, which are over here. Now, the other thing I want to point out is, for those of you that have been in my first session, there's Immersive Reader. So you can actually use Immersive Reader to read the step-by-step instructions to the student and translate that and all that. So if you don't know enough about Immersive Reader, please jump back into our first session and you can find out all about that. Now, the other thing I want to point out is I've put my equation here, I've got my answer, and I've got my step-by-step instructions. But the other thing we've done is we've actually built a very powerful AI in there, or I think it's very powerful, in that it will generate a practice quiz for you based on this type of question, right? So you can see here that I've got an X plus X minus a full digit. That's the sort of question. Now, what happens is when I click this button, it opens up Microsoft Forms for you within the OneNote page. You can determine how many questions you want it to provide, and it will create questions very similar to these questions on the OneNote page, right, as a forms, and you can go in and you can actually complete those. So it will give you more practice around the kind of question that you struggled with. So again, what it does is it actually creates questions, or a series of questions very similar to this one, and then I can go through that whole process again if I want, looking at how to do it step by step, find the answer, etc. And I can use that to check my work, but also the forms will give me the answers in there as well. The other thing that we've done, if you're teaching a lesson on scale, drawing diagrams, or even just looking to draw straight lines, give the ruler a try, right? So the ruler, again, lives in the draw tab, and it's over here with ruler. And you can use one finger to move the ruler up and down, left or right. If you've got a touch screen, you can use 2 fingers to rotate the ruler to the angle that you want, and you can use 3 fingers to rotate the ruler by 5-degree increments. Now, of course, you need to have a touch screen device to be able to use this, but we do have the ruler built in there for maths. So that's what that looks like. Okay, so that's inside OneNote for Windows 10. So please jump in and have a look at that. The next thing I want to talk about, though, is I want to talk about the same or very similar sort of experience happening inside the Edge browser. All right, so you need to make sure that you're on the most up-to-date version of Edge. And then when you've opened Edge on your Windows device, you just type in Edge:/flags. Okay, so Edge://flags, but you can just put the colon when you're typing it in. It'll throw those forward slashes in for you. And then what happens is you will actually open up the flag dialog page in here. And then up in here, I want you to type in Maths Solver. And as you type Maths Solver, then it will come up. Now, I've already installed it on mine, which is why I can't do that for you. But Maths Solver will be here. And then what you do is you click over here and you enable. All right, and you make sure that Maths Solver is enabled, right? So after you've done that, though, then what you need to do is you need to come into your settings. Okay, so you open your settings of your Edge browser and you come down here to show the Maths Solver button. All right, you can go back and watch this video again to get those instructions, but this is how you set it up on your machine. Now, once you've set it up in your Windows device, I'm going to take you in and show you a bit of a demo and show you what that looks like. All right, so what I did, right, was I've just typed in here maths equations, and then I've looked for images on maths equations, right? So I could type it in, etc., but I just want to show you how really cool it is. So these are just pictures, right, from the internet of someone else's maths equations. Now, because I've turned on that tool, there's the Maths Solver right there. There's the Maths Solver button. So I'm going to click on that. And then I get the instructions over here, all right? So it's saying drag and resize the box around the maths problem you want to solve, which in my case is this one. So I'm going to highlight that entire maths problem, and I highlight it there, and then you can see there's this little solve button appears down here. So I'm going to click on that. And look at there, there's my evaluation. It's also showing me the factor, and there's my solutions steps as well. Okay, so again, what I did was I highlighted it, I clicked the little solve button, and then it gave me the answer as well as the solution steps, right? Now, where this is a little bit richer though than what we saw in OneNote is it's actually recommended videos for me that are similar to, that are somehow connected to this type of question, right? So the AI is doing some really cool things. But the other thing I can do is if I click over here, show more learning content, it will actually take me to the Microsoft Maths Solver page. Okay, so I can use it just as a window over here on the browser, but if I want, I can go into a much richer environment, right? So it's got topics on pre-algebra, algebra, still showing me all my, evaluation, etc. But it's also provided me with a little quiz, videos, all kinds of stuff. And I don't even know what's going on here because I told you I taught grade 1 forever. But nevertheless, that's all there. The other thing I can do is I can copy this solution and I can share it with someone, right? So if one of my friends is struggling or I want to remember this, I can grab that and then I can copy that link and it would bring me back to this page over and over again. Now, I want to show you, right, because it's not just stuff that's clear text. So you can see we've got one here that's handwritten, right? So it's still just a photograph, right? Still just a Bing image. But I'm going to click on the Maths Solver button here. All right, and then I'm going to drag around what I'm looking to copy, which is that, click solve. And again, a photo of a handwritten equation, full experience, right? So it's not only solved for X, it's also solved for Y. The solution steps are there. There's a graph there. There's those videos. I can go to the learning page again, etc. All right, so very, very cool, the stuff that we have in that space. So that's Maths Assistant for OneNote and also the Maths Solver inside Edge browser. Now, how do I find the Edge browser if I haven't got the latest version? Just go into your favorite search engine, type in get Microsoft Edge, and that will take you to the Microsoft Edge download page, and you can download that. There it is right there, and you can download that. All right, so that's how we access that. Now, the last one I want to show you is I want to take you through and show you what's going on for your mobile phone and for your Android and Apple mobile phones and tablets, right? So that's a very cool tool that we have, which is the Maths Solver app. Now, because I can't demo from a phone, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to show you a video which has been made by my colleague. It's going to take you through and it's going to show you this. So you're going to hear his lovely voice talking you through this. You can get this app at your Play Store and App Store, or you can go to math.microsoft.com. But let's have a listen to this.
I'll be downloading the new Microsoft Math Solver app, which is free on iOS or Android. So I'm going to launch the app here. And this lets me take a picture of any equation, a piece of paper here. And I'm going to take a picture. It runs OCR and scans it in. And look at that, it solves it immediately. But it gives me a couple choices, and I'm going to choose steps for completing the square, and then I'm going to click get step-by-step solution right here. And look at that, it has all the steps and it helps walk me through. So it explains each step. I hit the down arrow at the bottom and it goes to the next step. So it lets me go step by step through the whole solution, which is really powerful. Now if I scroll down, I also get a graph, and look at this, I make it a little bit bigger and I can explore the graph here. I can zoom in, I can zoom out. I can have the different aspects down here that I can explore, turn some on, turn some off. I can also, scrolling back here, I can get videos. So here are some videos to help me that are similar to that equation, like exploring quadratic equations. I scroll down because this is powered by Bing. I have related concepts and it pulls those in. It even pulls in worksheets or similar problems on the web. So it's really allowing independent math exploration. I can even click share and send a link to someone that will send a web link of this whole solver problem. So I'm going to go all the way back and hit the back button here. Now I'm going to pull in something different. Let's say I've gotten a written equation. So I wrote this equation out. I'm going to go in and I'm going to take a picture. And we have ink recognition, and it takes that ink, turns it into a math equation. Same thing, I can solve that full math equation and do all those same things just from that picture that I took. So that is really powerful. And then lastly, we also have the ability to draw. So on the top here, that middle button, draw. So I'm going to type 5x plus 3 equals 0. And there it automatically OCRs. I click the little arrow button to solve it. And there we go. It solves for x, gives me a graph. I can click on the type. So on the top, I click on type. I can type in an equation like this. Again, it's typed in. I click the little arrow at the lower right. Same thing. So incredibly powerful tools that are free and built in to this Math Solver app.
So the next steps. First thing I want to draw your attention to is independent learning with math tools in OneNote. That is found at education.microsoft.com. That is a 1-hour course for you to do in your own time, at your own pace, to learn how to use those math tools in OneNote that I just showed you. Okay, so that's really worth exploring. You can definitely go back to this video, but that will take you through and walk you through step by step around how to use that all in OneNote. And as you know, it's a very similar experience over in Edge and a very similar experience in the mobile app as well. So that's really a good course to explore. And the other thing I want to draw your attention to is, for those of you that are new to the idea of digital inking and using a stylus on your device, there's a really good course on here as well around using digital inking with a Surface device. But also if you're using another kind of device, there's a lot of value in there for you as well. Again, I want to remind you that these series of videos are available for you at aka.ms/TroyYT, which is my YouTube page, including this video. You can jump in and have a look at that. And then lastly, I want to invite you to stay connected with me. So you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on Facebook. Please do a search. What I'll do is, by following me on those platforms, I will grab all the latest stuff around accessibility with Microsoft, all the, case studies and articles and feature updates and everything that you need, and I will push those out, and that'll start to appear in your in your Facebook feed or in your LinkedIn feed, whatever you happen to be using. So on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much, and thank you for being a part of this. I know this has been a much shorter one, but nevertheless, I hope there's a lot of things in there of value to you.